Hi there. I am Diane Casoto, and this is my session, Lights, Camera, Assess, with YouTube Live, a Make a Difference PD event for educators. Joining me today is Leslie, who is going to say hi and then mute her mic.
Hi.
All right, we'll give her just a minute for that. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about why I switched to video for some of my assessment. Excuse me. I have tried to become a mostly paperless classroom. I still do paperless for paper for a few activities. We do write an occasional essay, or we use paper in different ways instead of writing on it. Besides our notes on a regular basis, we use it for building and for maker education type of projects. I looked through different types of videos over the last couple of years and have found that all of my students, including my very shy ones, are more willing to show what they know if they're on video instead of on paper pencil and talking with their friends. So I'm going to go ahead and switch now to my presentation, excuse me. And then we will get going. So this is my presentation about Lights, Camera, Assess. I'm going to talk about a couple of the things that I use. If you want to access it, there is my Google link up in the top right-hand corner. It's a Goo link, and it's capital S, capital P, capital B, capital J, little b, and that is a 0. We double-checked it to make sure what that was. So why use video again? Students have a greater ability to use the images and text to demonstrate their learning and not just try and find that vocabulary word that sometimes can elude them. We've used it to share with others outside the classroom, both globally and locally. It becomes more about not just writing down what they learned and regurgitating the facts, but they're now able to create their own content. More student engagement for sure. And it meets any project you do can meet the standards, specifically speaking and listening, which for some teachers becomes about, I read a story, you answer 5 questions. In this way, they're able to watch each other's videos, engage in what they're doing, and be able to write back. These are a couple of the projects that I've done in school. I have done WeVideo, which are live action movies, and they can edit it both through their phones or apps or the WeVideo website. My students tend to use WeVideo through a Screencastify app, and then we upload it into into their Google Drive and then into WeVideo, and then they can edit it, adding music, credits. They get 5 months of free video storage per month. And then the paid versions offer a little bit more. One of my students just did it with a green screen app, and we were able to actually use green screen through video, and it was very cool. On my presentation, I've included some tutorials, as well as a link we did for a school board presentation to show you what life at Mountain View, where I work, was all about. Flipgrid is one that I am wholeheartedly going after. I learned about it a few months ago in a Ditch Book chat on Twitter. There's 2 different versions. There's the free version, which has the very basics, which actually are quite a lot. Kids get a topic from the teacher, record the video, and then each time you have a topic, you get a classroom teacher has 1 account and has as many presentations for the students as they want. The paid version, and I pay for nothing, and I will be buying this paid version, allows them to respond to each other and through video, as well as going through some global connections. Again, I've included some support videos as well as some class examples. I have used it for fluency when students are reading out loud and you're taking notes on your notepad or whatever it is, or you're working one-to-one. There are, in my classroom, 34, because I have 34 other students doing absolutely nothing. So what is great about this is that I can have all 35 record them reading anything. In this case, they were all reading picture books I got out of the library for Picture Book Month. And I sat down at my home and I watched 35 minutes worth of videos, and I could tell exactly who was fluent, who was not. Another thing we've used with it recently, I have STEAM buddies with our 3rd grade teacher, and he and I are working on a plant unit. And so we had my student and his student talk about what they learned with the plants, demonstrate on the video by holding up their plants, doing all the kinds of stuff that we normally would have had to do on a test. And because we have 2nd through 5th graders, because we both have combinations in our range, we were able to see what all of the students can do and not have to sit there and grade approximately 70 tests to see, did they understand what was going on with the plants, and were they able to demonstrate what we were talking about. Stop motion is another one that I love. Our school currently has a couple of Hue HD cameras and software. I absolutely adore their software. And if you can't have that, you can always do stop motion through Google Slides. I included a tutorial and a link to the Hue website for both the slides and the Hue. You can do their stop motion in the Chrome Web Store, Google Play, iTunes app, all of that. The whole idea with the stop motion was, again, having the students create what you want. So I included an example of the Gold Rush Lego movie that one of my students had done last year. And what it was we were studying the Gold Rush unit, and they were able to find a project that showed which way would they have traveled to get to California from Boston. We were reading By the Great Horn Spoon. And the student, 2 of them actually, decided to create a video with the stop motion showing that they would go by sea and what life would have looked like by doing that. And what I got out of it a lot more, instead of a quick paragraph telling me, okay, you go by sea because it's faster and it is cheaper and all of this other stuff, they were able to demonstrate, and I could see, okay, he got this concept, but he totally missed the concept of, yeah, it was a lot cheaper, but the seas were a lot rougher and a lot more people died from diseases. And so I was able to see everything he knew without me having to stop and go back over it with him one-on-one after reading his test and 35 other ones. Screencastify I mentioned earlier with the Weave video. This is a Chromebook extension that we discovered at the beginning of this school year. We are a one-to-one Chromebook school, and so we found this. And what I like about it is that the students take the video, can record it if they don't like it, they can redo it, they can make a slideshow and record it similar to what I'm doing here through this event. I've had students, I put on a couple of activities there. The cause and effect was really cool, because what I had was I just told students, all right, go make me a project. And a couple of kids said, hey, can we make our own video showing what happens when you have a cause and then the effect? And I had students doing marbles. When you hit one, it creates a chain reaction. There was a couple other ones. I don't remember which exactly one I put on here. But again, it showed me much more than I would just if I had a student write down a quick paragraph or tell me the definition of cause and effect. Green screen. We have a giant wall green screen. We're very lucky in our makerspace. At first, we thought we were doing just the Doink app for the iPad, but through WeVideo, we found that we could do it there as well by changing the image behind what the video is. One thing I love about the Doink app is that you can have multiple backgrounds. I was still trying to figure that out with WeVideo, but I think that we'll do that the same. And again, it works for all subject areas. You could take a picture and just put a background behind it, take a whole video, and it gives you all kinds of things. The book reviews that we've put on there is that the students did a big, our book, instead of a traditional book report, they did a book fair. And so I had each of the students stand in front of the blue screen. We put the book behind them, and they were able to tell us what was going on in the book, again, in more in depth than they would if they had to write, say, a 5-paragraph essay. And I found that the kids were more willing to talk to the camera than they were to talk in front of the 35 students. We still presented it to the whole class, but they enjoyed it much more and felt it was much more creative, much more engaging in it. That's pretty much all I have for the moment. I know that Leslie has been sitting here behind us and might, and I see that we have Mrs. Goldman, my principal, has joined us, so she's going to wave. All right, comments. I don't know if you can see the comments on the video. Jennifer Goldman says, love the stop motion for assessment. Kids are so excited. She saw a group of kids doing it to demo how to tell time. And that was from our 4th grade teacher. I saw that myself and I loved what they were doing. They were so excited, and it wasn't talking to each other about the worksheet or just, okay, we're excited, now we're bored, so we're gonna talk about everything else, but we're still doing our work. They were fully engaged in what they were doing and talking about how, wait, we can't do it to that point because that's only 10 minutes. And okay, how many frames do we need and all that? It was great. And Mrs. Hatland, thank you for telling me that your kids loved going to my class. If you want to add some comments or questions, go ahead and unmute your mic. Jennifer Goldman has said that she hadn't even thought how the kids would feel more comfortable talking in front of a green screen instead of in front of the class. Yeah, I found that especially my shy kids, they are much more in front of a camera. They're used to their tech. And for them, talking in front of the camera is no big deal because it's just you and the camera. And instead of you and 35 eyes staring at you, judging you, because a lot of times we have them make comments about each other's to submit to the teacher, and there's no other feedback. Where this way, especially through the Flipgrid paid version, they can record videos to each other, and they love the fact that it's quiet, but they can get across their point. It makes them much more comfortable. Anything else, ladies?
I think I have. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you actually see and hear me now?
Yes.
Wow, shocker. I was. I think we have a lag too, but I was wondering what kind of feedback you've been getting from your. I know you've gotten some really positive feedback from parents over the course of the year.
Yeah.
As the year winds down, what are you hearing from parents now?
The majority of the parents that I'm hearing from are ones that want more links to see what their kids have done. What I try to do a lot of times is I have the kids upload whatever they do video-wise into their drive so that they have access at home to show it. I also put it on my website when I can. One of the latest, stop motion activity we just did, they had to recreate a fractured fairy tale. And I had the kids upload it into, I think it's called Creative Bubbles. And it's through Hue Animation Studio. And they are constantly getting a bubble, which is kind of like a happy face or, a like on Twitter and Facebook. And I let the kids know that they're constantly getting that positive feedback. And they love it. They're so excited because somebody liked their stuff. And parents are kind of the same thing. They're liking that it's not just I send a bunch of papers home. They can see how excited their kids are by doing the video projects.
Oh, how cool is that? I want to see that.
I will. I'll send you the link to that later. I'm not quite sure how I have to do a little research how to get to the direct link because I'm used to just doing it straight from the Hue software.
Great.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. Go for it.
I guess I probably stop scratching my chin. I know that as the teacher who follows you, I'm very concerned about keeping up this momentum. So I want to do as much in-service as I can on all these things that you do, so I can keep the kids actively as engaged as they are when they're in your class. And like I said before, my kids every day ask, isn't this the day we go to Mrs. Casoto's class? Isn't this the day we go to Mrs. Casoto's class? So they really want to get there. And I don't think they do half the internet stuff with you as your regular class does. So just the little bit that they do excites
they're only with me twice a week. And so, we only have so much to do. But out of the samples that I gave you in the presentation, and I'll put that link up again at the end so anyone who wants to get to it can. I would start with the Flipgrid because it's less teacher and student intensive to learn how to do it. All the teacher has to do is after you create your account and create what they call your grid, which is kind of like your account. You post that you want a topic, and like I was saying earlier, like with the plants, we say week 4, tell about how your plant has grown. What are the new parts you see? Like we went from a seed to now we actually have roots and stems and what looks like hair on the plants. Oh, sorry, that was a flicker in my power. And so that was real easy. All I had to do was through Google Classroom, send them the link to the grid, and they just hit play, record, and then they snap a little selfie. So that's what everyone sees on the grid. And it's the easiest way to do something quickly. The kids don't have to learn how to do anything because it just says hit record. And then if you like it, we move to the selfie. If you don't like it, re-record it. And I have some kids that have recorded like 3 or 4 times before they finally submit. And what that shows me is that they care about what they're doing. They want it to look the best. And same with some of our, like the WeVideo and the Screencastify. They will record it several times to submit it, where if you just stand in front of your class and give a presentation, you got a one-shot time to master it. And I love the fact that they care about the fact that they can redo it over and over until they get it the way they want it.
Now, their stuff can be seen by others, but they can't see the comments by others?
On the Flipgrid, if you have the paid version, they can. I went free version for this year as I was learning it, and I didn't want to start the year in March where I had first encountered it. So as of August 1st, I will be buying the paid version because they can see each other's, not only see each other's, but be able to record a video back. So it's not like I just watch your video and then I can quickly just write a comment, a 1-sentence comment back and forth like we do on some of our other activities. But on the Flipgrid, they actually record a video back to each other. And from the video, they can have this full-on conversation. So like for group projects, if you wanted to assign a Flipgrid as your homework, you could and have each other comment back and forth to see, are they really engaging in what they're doing, or are they just recording a video and done?
Oh, that's cool.
It is. All right, any other comments? If not, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and say goodbye to everybody after I give my link to the presentation one more time.
Well, I did want to say one thing,
Okay.
and it's in comment. So what Leslie had to say, definitely interested in looking as a school site, looking into supporting teachers being able to purchase more innovative types of products and things to use in class, as opposed to using some of the things that we've had for years and years and years just because they've always been there. Because the things you guys are doing, it's incredible. It's so amazing to watch and see how the campus has changed. So that's just from an administrator perspective.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I love the fact that you're allowing us to kind of explore these new avenues. And just with my own class in the last year and a half that I've kind of started this transition, it's amazing how the students are reacting, and they're much more engaged. They're learning better than what they've learned over, I've done 4th grade and 5th grade for a lot longer than I want to admit on video. And they are just so much more excited, and they're so much more invested in what we're doing. It's not, I just come to school, I do some worksheets. Yeah, we did a fun project, and now we're back to reading the book, answering the questions, whether it's on worksheet or verbal. And this just seems much more engaging, and the kids have a great time. The parents love it. And the fact that they get to see what the kids are doing, and it's not just, oh yeah, I read my kid's worksheet, I asked them what it meant, and they had no clue.
Right.
I love that. All right, before I say goodbye, I'm going to share my link one more time on my classroom, or on my presentation.
Is this presentation saved? We can come see it again?
Yes. So if I'm putting up the link one more time here, you should be able to see it. Right here on the top right-hand corner, the goo.gl/S, capital P, capital B, capital J, little b 0. I'm going to leave this as my final thing here. If you go on that link or pause the video at this point, you can type that in and it will give you access to view the whole presentation, which means you can click on the links to look at the different types of videos as well as my student samples. I sent out a permission slip to parents asking who would be willing to let me include their students' work in the presentation. And over half of my class got back to me within the first day. It was wonderful that they were willing to support what I'm doing to share with other educators and let me include their kids' samples to kind of show off what their kids are doing. So I thought that was really, really cool. All right, so I am done sharing that. And so I want to thank Jennifer and Leslie for joining me for today, and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.
Bye.